There are moments in life that stay with us forever, moments that shape who we are and how we see the world. One of those moments is when we make the decision to propose to the one we love. It's a question that, when asked with the right heart, changes everything. It's more than just a simple request for a hand in marriage. It's a promise, a vow that you will stand by them through thick and thin. Do you remember the first time we stood together, just the two of us, with the world falling silent around us? The moonlight shining softly on our faces, the stars twinkling above us like they knew our secret. I remember that moment like it was yesterday. In the quiet, I asked you a question that would change both of our lives forever. Do you remember when I proposed to you? Not with a grand ring, but with my heart, my soul, and all the love I had to give? It wasn't a fancy setting, no grand ballroom with chandeliers or sparkling diamonds. It was just us, standing under the vast open sky, with only the sound of the wind and the rustling of leaves around us. The air was cool, the sky stretched, endlessly above, and in that moment, nothing else in the world mattered. Time seemed to stop as I looked into your eyes, knowing that this was the moment I had been waiting for my whole life. Do you remember the way we stood there, as if the world had paused just for us? The vows we made that night, unspoken but felt deeply. There was no need for words because we both understood. We knew, deep down, that this was the beginning of something beautiful. It wasn't about the future or the past, it was about right here, right now, and the love we shared. I didn't need a ring to ask you to be mine. Instead, I gave you my soul, every piece of it, wrapped in the hope of a future together. I promised you that I would be there, not just in the happy moments, but in the tough times as well. When the world seemed dark and uncertain, I promised to be your light. When the path ahead seemed unclear, I vowed to walk beside you. I remember how we laughed that night, how we smiled at the simple joy of being with one another. There was a peace in the air, a calm that I had never known before. And when I looked at you, I saw not just a partner, but a friend, someone who would stand by me through every chapter of life. As the years passed, I held on to that moment. The world changed, and life took us on unexpected journeys. There were days when we were happy, and there were days when we struggled. But through it all, I never forgot how we stood that night together, in silence, as love spoke louder than words ever could. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can still hear the echo of that moment in my heart. Do you remember how we built our life together, brick by brick? It wasn't always easy, but it was always worth it. The laughter, the tears, the quiet moments we shared in the late hours of the night, they all made our story uniquely ours. Every challenge we faced only brought us closer, as we learned to dance through the storms and hold each other tighter when the winds grew strong. There were times when life tested us, when words were harsh and hearts grew cold. But even in those moments, we never let go. We fought, not against each other, but for each other. We found a deeper understanding, a bond that couldn't be broken. Because love isn't just about the good times, it's about sticking together when things get tough, when everything around you seems to be falling apart. And then there were the quiet moments, the times when everything seemed peaceful and still. The world was outside, busy with its chaos, but we were content in our little corner of it. I remember the warmth of your hand in mine, the way your touch calmed me, as if everything would be all right because you were there. It wasn't just the big moments that mattered. It was the small, everyday moments that made our love so strong. As the years moved on, I often wondered if you still remembered that first proposal. Do you remember the way I asked you, not with grand gestures, but with all the love I had? Do you still feel the way we felt then, before the world had changed? When everything was new and exciting, and we had only the promise of each other to hold on to? Life may have changed us, but it hasn't changed the love we share. It has only deepened it. And no matter where we go or what we face, I know that the love we promised each other on that quiet night will always remain. It's a love that bends, but never breaks. A love that continues to grow even as time passes by. So do you remember when we stood together in that moment when the world felt so wide and full of possibilities? I still remember the way you looked at me, the way your eyes shone with the same dreams I had. I still remember how your smile made everything feel right. And I still remember how, even in the quiet, we knew that our hearts had found their home in each other. As time has passed, I see the years etched on our faces. We've lived through so much together. The laughter, the tears, the highs and lows. They've all become part of our story. But one thing remains constant: the love we share. It's a love that has stood the test of time, a love that will continue to grow no matter what life throws our way. And so I ask you again, in the quiet of today, just as I did back then. Do you remember when I proposed to you? Not with words alone, but with my soul, with every breath I took, with every promise I made. I still remember, and I always will, because that moment, that beautiful, quiet moment, will forever be the foundation of everything we've built together. The world has changed since that night, but the love we share remains the same. It's a love that has been tested, but never broken. A love that has grown stronger with every passing year. And as we continue to write our story, I know that no matter what happens, we will always have that moment, that promise, that love. So, as we walk forward hand in hand, I ask you once more, do you remember when I proposed to you? Because I'll never forget the way we stood there, hearts full of hope, looking forward to a future that was ours to create. And no matter where life leads us, I know that love will always be our guide. In the quiet moments when everything else fades away, I'll always remember that night. I'll remember the way you looked at me, the way your touch felt, and the promise we made. Because no matter how much time passes, that love will always remain, as true and as strong as it was when we first made it. Do you remember when I proposed to you? Because I do, and I always will. And with every breath I take, I promise to keep loving you forever.